saw that you could take something that was dead and messy and rotting away to nothing, and you could make it clean and perfect and permanent.
The Sound of Bones Bath, Ohio, family home, 1960 to 1966. The house is quiet now. It's a different quiet than daytime. This is the quiet that comes after the words have been used up. My door is open a crack, just enough to hear the sounds the house makes by itself. The Frigidaire in the kitchen just made its sound, and then off. That's a good sound. A sound that means everything is working right. The floorboards downstairs creak sometimes when they get cold. Dad is in his den. I can't hear him, but I know he's there. He's probably reading or looking at his papers. Mom is in her room with the door closed. She closes it when her head hurts. She says the light and the noise make it worse. I stay in my room so I don't make any noise. Earlier they were talking in the kitchen. At first it was just normal talk. The words were round. But then the words started to get points on them. Sharp points. They were throwing them back and forth like darts. I was in the living room, on the floor, looking at a Popular Mechanics, but not really reading it. I was listening to the shape of the words. I don't always listen to what the words mean. I listen to what they sound like. Her words got whispering high and thin, like a tea kettle. His words got low and hard, like hammers. When they use those words, I go inside my head where it's quiet. I went to my room and closed the door, almost all the way. Now the sharp words are gone and the house is just humming and creaking. I have my box out. It's an old Dutch Master's cigar box that used to be Dad's. It smells like tobacco and dry paper inside. It's where I keep my special things. I opened it real careful. Everything is in its place. I have them lined up in rows, like soldiers. There's a blue feather from a jay. A piece of green bottle glass I found in Brandywine Creek, worn smooth as a marble. A metal bolt that's heavy and cold in my hand. And my collection of fiddlesticks. That's what I call them. Dad calls them bones. He found them last summer when the kitchen sink was backing up. He had to go under the house to look at the pipes. I watched him pry open the little wooden door to the crawl space. It smelled like dirt and wet rocks under there, and something else. Something sweet and sour. He had his flashlight in his mouth and he crawled in on his belly like a soldier. I just sat on the back steps and waited. I could hear him moving around, making noises. Then I heard a sound like dry kindling breaking. He backed out a minute later, brushing spider webs off his work shirt. He was dragging an old carnation milk box. It was falling apart, the cardboard all soft and brown.
Oh, where are my manners? My name is Grimwick. And that was just one page of tonight's diary.
Well, I'll be, he said. He wasn't smiling, but his voice had that interested sound, like when he explains chemistry stuff. He liked finding things he could explain. The box was full of them. They were small and brownish white, like old piano keys, all different shapes. Just animal bones, he said, picking up a long one and turning it in his hands. Probably a raccoon. Maybe a possum. He held it out to me. See, this here's a femur bone, the thigh bone. It wasn't scary at all. It felt light and smooth and strong, like a piece of driftwood. He said the animal had probably gotten sick and crawled under the house to die a long time ago. He said it was just nature taking its course. He put the box out by the trash cans to throw away come Monday, but I went and took some of the smaller pieces when he wasn't looking. The little round ones from the backbone, and some of the thin rib pieces that looked like tiny wishbones. He never noticed they were gone. To him, it was just junk cluttering up the crawl space. To me, it was something else entirely. When I keep them in my pocket and walk around, they make a soft clicking sound, like castanets. If I hold two of them just right and rub them together, they make a high, thin, singing sound that only I can hear. That's why I call them fiddlesticks. When my parents' words get sharp and pointy, I listen to the fiddlesticks instead. Their sound is older than words. It's a quiet, clean sound. It makes the buzzing in my own head go away for a while. I don't talk as much as I used to. Not since I had to go to the hospital last spring. My stomach hurt something fierce, way down low, and Dr. Clemmer told Dad I had what he called a double hernia. I didn't know what that was. It sounded like something broken. Dad drew a picture of it for me on the back of an envelope to explain it. It was a drawing of walls inside a person that weren't strong enough to hold things in place. He's a chemist at PPG, so he likes to explain everything with drawings and formulas. I didn't really understand the drawing. I just knew it hurt bad. The hospital smelled like Lysol and something else underneath, something sour. I remember them putting me on a bed with wheels and pushing me down a long hallway under those buzzing fluorescent lights. The lights on the ceiling went past, one after another, like counting telephone poles from a car window. A nurse with a white cap put a black rubber mask over my face. It smelled like a tire inner tube. She told me to count backwards from 10. I think I got to 7. When I woke up, there was a sharp, pulling pain on both sides of my belly, like someone had sewn piano wire through my skin. I had black stitches that looked like little railroad tracks. For weeks after that, it felt like the words I wanted to say got stuck somewhere inside me, caught behind those stitches. It was too much work to push them out. So I just got quiet. I learned how to move without making sound, how to open a door without the hinges squeaking, how to set a glass down on a table, soft as a feather. When you're quiet like that, people sometimes forget you're there. And that's better, mostly. You can see more when they don't see you watching. At school, I stand by the brick wall during recess. The other kids run around hollering and carrying on. They play Red Rover or kickball or tag. I watch them. Their bodies are like machines, all joints and levers, arms and legs pumping. I study how they work. I see how Tommy Kowalski pushes off with his toes to run faster, or how Sally Brennan twists her whole body when she throws the playground ball. Sometimes, though, I want them to look at me. It's a funny feeling, like I'm turning into a ghost and I have to do something to prove I'm still there. So I do the trick. I let my whole body go loose and fall down on the asphalt. I roll my eyes back till only the whites show and let my arms and legs shake and jerk around. I make choking sounds in my throat, like I can't breathe. The first time I did it, some of the girls screamed real loud. Then all the boys came running over and made a circle around me, laughing and pointing. They weren't being mean about it. They were just fascinated, like I was a magic trick. One of them said, "Hey everybody, Dahmer's having another fit." For maybe a whole minute, every single one of them was staring right at me. It made my stomach feel all fluttery, but it was better than being invisible. Mrs. Patterson came running over and grabbed my arm. "Jeffrey Dahmer, you stop that nonsense this instant." She sounded mad, but her voice was shaking. I learned something important that day. You can get attention by doing things people don't expect, things that make them uncomfortable. They don't know how to react, so they just stare. The other kids call it doing a Dahmer now. They think it's just me acting goofy. But it's not goofing around. It's just a way to make noise when regular words won't come out. Dad showed me the proper way to clean bones for his collection. He's got skulls from all kinds of animals lined up on a shelf in the garage. A rabbit, a couple squirrels, even a big raccoon skull, with all its teeth still in it. Last month we found a dead fox by the side of Akron Road, and he brought it home in an old paint bucket. Boy, did it smell something awful. He went to Rexall Drug and bought big brown bottles of hydrogen peroxide and a jug of Clorox bleach. This is how you prepare a proper specimen for study, he told me. I like that word, specimen. It sounded scientific and important. It means to keep something exactly like it was, but better. Cleaner. Permanent. We put the fox bones in a galvanized bucket with the chemicals. Dad made me wear Mom's yellow rubber dish gloves. The chemicals bubbled and fizzed like Alka-Seltzer. It smelled clean and sharp, like the hospital but not so sour underneath. After 3 days he fished the bones out with barbecue tongs, and they were perfectly white. White as fresh snow. They didn't smell bad anymore. They just smelled like nothing at all. Clean nothing. He showed me how to wire the whole skeleton back together with thin copper wire so it would stand up on its own. He was real proud of that fox skeleton. He talked about the anatomy, the way all the pieces fit together just so. But I saw something different when I looked at it. I saw that you could take something that was dead and messy and rotting away to nothing, and you could make it clean and perfect and permanent. You could stop time. All you needed was the right chemicals and patience. You just had to follow the steps and stay in control. A couple weeks back I found a dead sparrow by the back fence. It was perfect. None of the neighborhood cats had gotten to it first. Its feathers were all smooth and in place. Its little head was turned to one side and its black bead eyes were closed, like it was just sleeping. I thought about what Dad had taught me about preservation. I snuck into the house real quiet. I got one of Mom's empty ball canning jars from the basement shelves. I got the rubber gloves from under the kitchen sink. I took the bottle of bleach from the laundry room, being extra careful not to let it slosh around and make noise. I did everything in the right order, just like Dad showed me. I put on the gloves first, safety first, like Dad always says. I picked up the sparrow real gentle and put it in the jar. It fit just right, like the jar was made for it special. I poured bleach over it, just enough to cover its tiny body. Then I added some water from the garden hose. I screwed the lid on tight as I could. That clicking sound when the threads caught was satisfying, like finishing a puzzle. Click. Safe and sound. If I squeezed it hard, it would crumble to powder between my fingers. But if I'm careful, if I protect it, it'll last forever. It'll last longer than this house, longer than the people in it, longer than me even. I put it back in its place and closed the lid of the box with a soft click. I slide it under my bed, back into the safe darkness. Then I get up and look out my window at Bath Road. The streetlight makes a perfect yellow circle on the asphalt. I can see into some of the neighbors' windows. The Millers have their TV on, blue light flickering. The Kowalski's kitchen window is yellow and warm. People are in those houses right now, moving around, talking to each other, eating late snacks, getting ready for bed. They're all busy with their lives. The whole world is busy and moving and changing every second. I press my palm against the cold glass of my window. My breath fogs it up for just a second, and then it's gone without a trace. Everything just disappears like that, sooner or later. But I don't think it has to be that way. I think if you're smart enough, and careful enough, and you have the right chemicals and equipment, you can figure out how to make things stay exactly like they are. I haven't worked out all the details yet, but I've got that sparrow in the ball jar, and that's a start. It feels like I know a secret that nobody else in the whole world knows. It's a quiet, clean feeling, like the sound my fiddlesticks make when I rub them together. And for now, that's enough.
Ah. I trust you enjoyed this glimpse into a most curious diary. If so, leave behind a small token of your delight with a like, and do consider joining our circle by subscribing. And remember, ring the little bell and you shall be the very first to know when another diary or a fresh entry emerges from the shadows. And if a whisper stirs in your mind, a thought, a riddle, perhaps a name of someone whose secrets you would dare to uncover, leave it for me below. I read them one by one. And who knows, your wish may guide my hand to the very next diary I choose from my collection.